It was a Tuesday morning, 9:23 a.m. Harlow Medical Center, Chicago, Illinois. One of the finest hospitals in the country. 12 floors, 417 beds, a cardiac unit ranked second in the nation, a research wing that had produced 6 published breakthroughs in the last 3 years alone. And in the waiting room of the general admissions floor, a young doctor was humiliating an old man, loudly, in front of everyone. The old man had been sitting quietly in the corner for 20 minutes. Simple clothes, worn shoes, a paper number in his hand. He had asked, politely, quietly, whether someone could look at his hand. He had injured it that morning. Nothing dramatic, a cut that had not stopped bleeding the way it should. Dr. Blake had looked at him the way certain people look at things that inconvenience them. The worn shoes, the simple clothes, the paper number. And then his voice had gone up, not down, up. This is a world-class medical facility. He said it the way people say things they want engraved somewhere. We have patients here with serious conditions, cardiac cases, post-surgical recoveries, people who actually need to be here. He gestured at the waiting room, at the other patients. This is not a walk-in clinic. This is not somewhere you come because you cut your hand. We have protocols, we have systems, we have a triage process that exists for a reason. He looked at the old man's hand. Briefly. Go to urgent care. That is what urgent care is for. People like you. The waiting room had gone completely silent. The old man looked at Dr. Blake. His expression did not change. He looked at the paper number in his hand. Then he looked back at Dr. Blake. He said nothing. He simply waited. And what nobody in that waiting room knew was that the building they were sitting in, every floor, every bed, every piece of equipment, every research grant, every breakthrough, existed because of the man Dr. Blake had just told to go to urgent care. And that in less than 4 minutes, the CEO of Harlow Medical Center was going to walk through those doors. Before we go further, drop yes in the comments if you have ever been made to feel invisible in a place that was supposed to help you. Drop no if you haven't. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because what is about to happen in that waiting room is something nobody who was there that Tuesday morning will ever forget. Now, let's go back and understand who that old man really was and what it cost him to build the room they were sitting in. His name was William Harlow, 74 years old. He had built Harlow Medical Center 40 years ago, not from wealth, not from connections, from grief. His son's name was Thomas Harlow. He was 7 years old when he got sick, a cardiac condition, rare but treatable. Treatable if you had access to the right specialist. Treatable if you lived in a city with the right facility. Treatable if you could get your child to the right room in time. William could not. Not because he didn't try. He tried everything. He drove through the night. He called every number he had. He sat in waiting rooms in hospitals that were not equipped for what Thomas needed, and watched the hours pass and felt the particular helplessness of a father who is doing everything and it is not enough. Thomas died on a Wednesday morning. He was 7 years old. William was 34. He sat in a hospital corridor afterward, alone, and he made a decision. Not in anger, not in the dramatic way decisions are made in films. Quietly, privately, the way the most important decisions are always made. He decided that no other father in this city would make the same calls he made,
would sit in the same waiting rooms, would feel the same helplessness. Not if he could do anything about it. It took him 11 years. 11 years of working and saving and fundraising and being told no by people who would later put their names on his building as donors. 11 years of carrying Thomas with him through every meeting and every rejection and every moment when the sensible thing would have been to stop. He did not stop. In 1987, Harlow Medical Center opened on the north side of Chicago. A small clinic at first, 12 beds, one cardiac specialist William had personally recruited from Johns Hopkins, equipment that had taken 3 years of fundraising to acquire. He named it for his son, not publicly. The name Harlow was his own name, but he knew. Every morning when he arrived, every evening when he left, every year when he visited as a patient, he knew whose name was on the building. Every year, once a year, William Harlow put on simple clothes and worn shoes and walked into one of his own hospital's admissions floors. Not as the founder, not as the man whose name was on the building, as a patient, a number. He sat in the waiting room. He observed. He watched how the staff moved, how they spoke to people who were frightened, how they prioritized, how they treated the patient in the worn shoes versus the patient in the good coat. Because he needed to know.
Not from reports, not from satisfaction surveys, not from what department heads told him in quarterly reviews. He needed to feel it, the way a patient felt it, the way a frightened person felt it, the way a person who needed help and had nowhere else to go felt it when they walked through that door. He had been doing this for 22 years. He had seen many things. He had made many changes because of what he had seen. He had never been spoken to the way Dr. Blake spoke to him that Tuesday morning. Not once, in 22 years. He had arrived at 9:03 a.m. He had genuinely injured his hand that morning, a cut from a kitchen knife that had not stopped bleeding the way it should. A real reason to be there. He always had a real reason. He took a number. He sat in the corner. He watched. The waiting room was full. A woman with a child on her lap, the child pale and quiet, the mother's eyes moving to the desk every 30 seconds. An older man with his arm in a makeshift sling, jaw tight with the effort of not showing how much it hurt. A young couple. She was leaning on him. He was filling out a form, both of them trying to look more composed than they felt. William watched all of it, the way he always watched, reading the room, reading the staff. The nurse at the desk was efficient and professional, not warm, but competent and fair. The orderly moving between the doors was gentle with a wheelchair patient in a way that was not required and not noticed by anyone except William. He noted both. Then Dr. Blake walked through. He was 31 years old, 6 years out of medical school. He was good at the technical parts of his job. His diagnostic accuracy was excellent. His procedural skills were above average. His file was clean. But somewhere in 6 years of under-resourced shifts and overwhelming patient loads and a system that rewarded efficiency over empathy, something had calcified in him. Not cruelty, exactly. Indifference. The particular indifference of someone who has processed so many people in so many waiting rooms that they have stopped being people. They are cases, they are numbers, they are obstacles between him and the end of his shift. He walked through the waiting room the way he always walked through it, without looking at it, until William's hand caught his eye. The makeshift wrapping, the simple clothes, the worn shoes. He stopped. He looked at the number in William's hand. He looked at the desk. He looked back at William, and his voice went up. "Excuse me." Not a greeting, an interruption. William looked up. "This is a world-class medical facility." His voice carried across the waiting room. The woman with the child looked up. The man with the sling looked up. The young couple looked up. Everyone looked up.
We have patients here with serious conditions, cardiac cases, post-surgical recoveries, people who actually need to be here." He gestured at the room, at the other patients, as if they were evidence. "This is not a walk-in clinic. This is not somewhere you come because you cut your hand." He looked at William's hand briefly, a glance, not an assessment, a dismissal wearing the costume of a glance. "We have protocols, we have systems, a triage process that exists for a reason." He straightened. "Go to urgent care." Said it the way you say something that should have been obvious to begin with. "That is what urgent care is for." A pause. "People like you." The waiting room did not move. The woman with the child had the expression of someone who wanted to say something and had decided this was not her moment. The man with the sling was looking at the floor. William looked at Dr. Blake. His expression did not change. Not anger, not embarrassment, not the wounded dignity of someone absorbing a public humiliation, just the steady, patient gaze of someone who has seen this before, who has seen what happens to people in systems when nobody is watching, who came here precisely to see it. He looked at the paper number in his hand, then back at Dr. Blake. He said nothing. He waited. Dr. Blake turned, satisfied, efficient, already thinking about the next thing. He had not taken 3 steps when the doors at the end of the corridor opened. A woman entered. Her name was Dr. Patricia Walsh.
51 years old, CEO of Harlow Medical Center for 9 years. She was moving through the corridor with the particular energy of someone who has 17 things to do and is doing all of them simultaneously. Until she looked through the waiting room window and saw him. She stopped, looked again. Then she came through the door, crossed the waiting room in 12 steps, and said, loud enough for every person in that room to hear, "William." Not Mr. Harlow. William. The warmth of someone greeting a person they respect enormously and are genuinely glad to see. "Nobody told me you were coming in today." William looked up at her. The faintest trace of something that was almost a smile. "Nobody knew," he said. Patricia looked at his hand. "What happened?" "Kitchen knife," he said, "this morning." She was already turning to the desk. "Room 4, she said. "Now, please." She looked back at William. "I'll take you myself." The waiting room watched. The woman with the child, the man with the sling, the young couple, and Dr. Blake, who had turned at the sound of Patricia's voice, who was standing very still in the corridor, who was looking at the old man in the simple clothes and worn shoes being escorted personally by the CEO of the hospital, who was doing the calculation that was already too late. Patricia looked at him briefly as she passed. Her expression was not angry. It was something colder than angry. It was the expression of someone who saw exactly what they needed to see and would deal with it properly later. As they walked toward room 4, William and Patricia side by side, he said quietly, "The nurse at the desk." Patricia looked. "She was good," he said. "Fair, competent, under pressure." Patricia nodded. "The orderly with the wheelchair patient at the east doors." "Yes." "Gentle," William said, in a way nobody asked him to be. He walked slowly, his hand wrapped. The corridor around them, his corridor, his building, his son's name on the wall at the entrance, passing on both sides. "The waiting room is too cold," he said. "I'll have it looked at," she said. "The chairs," he said. "The ones by the window, the third one from the left has a broken support, has been for at least 30 minutes. Nobody has replaced it." Patricia said nothing. She was writing it all down in the notebook she always carried when William visited. Even when she didn't know he was coming, she always carried it, because he always came, and he always noticed. Patricia met with Dr. Blake at 2 p.m. that afternoon. She closed the door. She did not raise her voice.
She described what she had seen in the waiting room. She described it with precision, not drama, just the facts of what had happened and what had been said and who was in the room to hear it. Dr. Blake began to explain. She let him finish. Then she said, "The man you told to go to urgent care built this hospital." A pause. He built it because his son died 40 years ago in a city that didn't have the right facility. Another pause. He comes here every year, in simple clothes, with a real complaint, to sit in our waiting room and feel what our patients feel. She looked at him. What he felt today. She did not finish the sentence. She did not need to. Dr. Blake sat with it. The waiting room, the simple clothes, the worn shoes, the paper number, the name on the building he had walked into every morning for 6 years. "Your promotion review has been postponed." She opened the door. "I'd suggest you spend some time in that waiting room, as a patient, not as a doctor." She left him with it. Dr. Blake spent 3 hours in the waiting room that Thursday afternoon, not working, sitting, with a number. He watched the woman with the pale child wait 40 minutes before anyone checked on her. He watched the man with the sling try 3 times to get comfortable in a chair that had a broken support. He watched a frightened elderly woman ask the desk a question and get an answer that was technically correct and completely inadequate for someone who did not understand medical terminology. He sat with it all for 3 hours. He went home that evening and did not sleep well. He came back the next morning and asked the nurse at the desk, the one William had noted as fair and competent, if she would show him how she managed the triage backlog without making people feel dismissed. She looked at him for a moment. Then she said, "Yes." It took 6 months. 6 months of small, deliberate changes. The way he entered a room, the way he introduced himself, the amount of time he gave each patient before he formed a conclusion. It was not a transformation, it was work. The slow, difficult work of someone dismantling a habit that a system had built in him and replacing it with something better. His promotion review was rescheduled 8 months after that Tuesday morning. The approval came from William Harlow directly. One line in the letter. "A doctor who can learn what Dr. Blake learned in 8 months is a doctor this hospital needs." There are 2 lessons in this story. The first is the obvious one. The man in the worn shoes might have built the building you are standing in. Treat people accordingly. But the second lesson is William, a man who lost his son, who did not let that loss make him bitter or closed or finished, who took the worst thing that ever happened to him and built something from it that has saved thousands of lives, who then, every year, without announcement, without credit, walked back into that building as nobody, to make sure it was still the place he built it to be, to make sure the people who came through that door, frightened, in pain, with nowhere else to go, were seen, really seen, the way Thomas was not seen, the way William was not seen for 20 minutes in a waiting room in his own hospital on a Tuesday morning. He did not build Harlow Medical Center to be celebrated. He built it because a 7-year-old deserved to live, and because every child after Thomas deserved the same chance. Think about that the next time the system makes you indifferent, the next time the volume of need in front of you makes individual need invisible, the next time you look at the person in the worn shoes and see a case instead of a person. There is a Thomas behind every William, a reason behind every room, a grief behind every building. You just cannot always see it from the waiting room. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Do you think William was right to approve Dr. Blake's promotion after 8 months, or did he let him off too easily? Drop your answer in the comments. And tell me, Have you ever been in a waiting room, a hospital, an office, anywhere, and felt completely invisible? Tell me about it. I read every single comment. If this story moved you, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it today, and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications because the next story is already coming and you do not want to miss it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.